Cruise etiquette. It's mostly about being respectful, treating others, treating your crew the way that you would like to be treated. Frankly, it's common sense, isn't it?
I would think so, but imagine our surprise when we found a Reader's Digest article saying differently, and we found out that we may have been violators.
Are you guilty of inadvertently upsetting your ship's crew? Find out next on the Sonic Boomers podcast. Welcome back to the Sonic Boomers. I'm Pete.
And I'm Maureen.
This is an independently produced boutique podcast where Maureen and I talk about the things that we pull right off the top of our heads.
And sometimes out of somewhere else.
And very often straight from the heart. And on this edition, we're talking about cruise etiquette.
And the things that people do that may not be all it's cut out to be.
Yeah, I mean, you think you're doing something nice for the crew, but the reality is you're kind of not.
Maybe not. One of the things that they mentioned was raving about a special request dinner. Now, it's not so bad that you ask for it because people have dietary needs and they maybe need something specially done from the kitchen. But when you make too big a deal out of it and too loudly, next thing you know, the kitchen may be inundated with requests for what you had or for other specialties, and now it's becoming a short order cook type situation, and it creates a real logjam in the kitchen for them to get out the meals for the people that are ordering regular.
So what do they recommend instead?
That you just quietly thank your server, mention that you appreciate it, and not make a loud declaration about it.
Number 2 is sharing positive feedback about the entertainers or the crew that went out of their way to help you. And you share this with cruise director or with guest services. And when it comes to the entertainment, and it's something that we've done, but the fact of the matter is that if you are raving positively to the cruise director about the show or about a particular singer or band, they really can't do anything because they don't do the hiring, is the point that they made in the Reader's Digest article. These are not the people that make those decisions. Those decisions are made corporately back on shore.
Exactly. And it may or may not ever get to the person whom you are complimenting. They suggest that you wait until the end of the cruise when they send out the questionnaires. And at that point is the best time to be able to recognize outstanding service.
The same is true if you're in the restaurant, like when Maureen and I were on our last cruise, and we had a server there who was particularly polite, pleasant, helpful, accommodated Maureen's needs. And of course, we thanked her and we gave her a nice tip at the end of the cruise, which is a good thing to do. And when you get the questionnaire from the cruise line, you can write, I was on this ship on such and such date. This person was working in the blue dining room and really went out of their way. And that helps them.
Right.
But if you go to the cruise director or anybody else,
guest services,
there's nothing they can do.
And like I said, it may not ever even get to the person. Yeah. So it's kind of a waste of time. Now, this one is kind of, I thought it was kind of weird. Helping the crew bring in a boat after an excursion. Now, we're not talking trying to take over the ocean liner. We're talking about these
going up to the captain's bridge and say, can I help you? Can I help you bring
this in? But this is for like when they have like a small boat that comes up to the dock. Maybe it's a tender. Maybe it's like a little catamaran or something like that.
Rubber raft kind of a thing.
Right. And, you come out and you think you're helping, pulling the ropes and helping it to tether to the shore. And the crew's like, please don't.
You can get hurt. You can get hurt badly. You can get killed doing the wrong thing. And there are procedures. There are safety procedures on how everything on a cruise ship is done.
Exactly.
And they have to follow it. So again, it's like, hey, let me help you with that. No, just sit back or stand back and let them do their job.
Right. Another thing is, you might be enjoying a particular entertainer and you offer to buy them a drink. Not a good idea.
It could get them fired.
It could get them fired because in many cases they're not allowed to drink while they're working. It's their job. Think of it this way. If you went into your office or your job and said, I'm going to hoist a cocktail.
You mean that was wrong when I did that?
Yeah, I think so. So anyway, don't try to buy them a drink. Even after the show is over, it's just not good etiquette. And also, they get their drinks at a deep discount. So you might pay $14 for get them a drink. If they want to buy one for themselves, it costs them like $2.
I know some of the contracts say they can have a drink between sets. Others say not at all during the performance. There are others that say not in the venue where they're performing, but maybe in one of the other bars after the show. There was the one guy that we saw on one of our cruises that had the guitar that we liked.
Yeah.
And he was actually up on a bar area on the ship, not in the music venue.
Yeah.
And I said, gee, we really enjoyed your show tonight. Can I buy you a drink? And he was like, no, no, thank you. I can't do that because I can buy my own, but passengers cannot buy.
Right.
So you don't know what the contract is with that particular performer, but the best advice is don't do it.
Another thing is, you get talking with some of the crew members and you develop a little bit of a rapport, and you might start asking them personal questions. There's a fine line. If you cross that line, it can be really not a good idea.
And we've kind of skated that line a little bit. We don't get deeply personal.
I don't think we're too bad.
We'll ask them where they're from, and very often it's on their badge anyway.
Right.
But we'll say, do you have children back home? And that's probably not a good idea, ultimately.
I don't think that part is too bad, but like some people get really...
Are you single?
Yeah.
Do you fool around?
Yeah. I think people cross the line a little bit on that.
Especially on those 4-day booze cruises.
Maybe. Okay, another one is stacking your plates for your server.
Now, we've done this.
Guilty.
Guilty as charged, Your Honor.
And again, I feel badly when there's so many tables that they have to take care of and so many people that are needing them. I feel like if I can make their job a little bit easier by stacking it up so all they have to do is pick up the pile, then I've done a good thing. But what I didn't realize is that there's an art to the way that these things get stacked.
Yeah. There's a protocol as to how they are brought back, how they are stacked, how they're loaded into the dishwashing machines.
Right. And also just the balancing act. If you ever see these guys, they carry out 8-10 dinners with one hand on a tray. So for them to clear the table, it's the same kind of thing. They have to balance it in a certain way to be able to take the maximum number of plates away and be efficient.
Now, here's one that we actually did stop doing. Tipping your server on the restaurant check or on the bar tab, because that money actually goes to the ship's account that is used to distribute tips amongst the crew. Maybe. The recommendation is if you're going to tip a server, a bartender, anybody of that order, in cash, hand it directly to them as you thank them for their great performance, their service, their help to you, whatever. Do it in cash. Because if you're writing it, we used to do it on the bar tab.
Yeah.
We'd order wine and they'd bring you the check and I would write in a tip. And then you read on the check that there's already like a 15% gratuity.
Exactly.
Built
in
into that. And now you're tipping over and above. Maybe you've given now a 25-30% gratuity, and you still don't know if it's getting to
it may not.
the server.
In fact, it most likely is maybe they're only getting a piece of that.
Yeah.
If at all. Because like you said, they divvy it up. It goes amongst everybody, say, that's working in that night in that room.
So remember, cash is truly the gift that keeps on giving.
Mm-hmm. Now, another thing is complimenting an entertainer or crew member's looks or appearance. Now, that's a little creepy to me, to be complimenting on their appearance. Oh, you're a very pretty girl. I don't know when I would ever think that was
The
appropriate.
last cruise we were on, the cruise director had on a short sleeve top.
Yeah.
And she had, ink, considerable
Right.
amount of ink on her
Right.
arm. And I said to her, gee, that's very nice ink that you have there. And she actually looked offended that I said something. And I thought, what the hell did I do? I just said that her tattoos were
Yeah.
nice. It's like,
But you want to be complimented on your service, not on your appearance, not on things that have nothing to do with your job. I think it's what it comes down to.
and I really thought it was an innocent, Nice
I know that
compliment,
you
you know?
didn't mean anything bad
Yeah,
by it,
yeah.
and it probably isn't really. It's not on the creep scale.
but she looked offended.
Well, again, some people would say if they don't like tattoos and you're commenting on it, she doesn't know whether you're saying it in a way like, "Oh, you've got a lot of ink."
Yeah.
Like, that's nice. I like your ink. Or
Hey,
if you're
sister,
saying,
you got more ink than the New York Times. What's up with that?
It could go. It's a comment that could have gone either way.
Yeah.
And probably best left unsaid.
Yep. So next time, don't expect me to compliment you on your ink because I'm not doing it.
Okay.
I don't care if Da Vinci did it. I'm not doing it.
All right. Another thing is telling the piano player how much you're enjoying the song while they're playing.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You don't try to talk to them while they're playing.
That happens to Maureen and I all the time when we're doing the music in our church.
No, it
we're
doesn't.
halfway through the responsorial
No, it
psalm,
doesn't.
and somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey, Pete, that's really nice, that high note that you hit."
No, you
right in the
wish.
middle of the song.
You wish.
I took a shot.
But, again, I when I saw this, it reminds me of Billy Joel.
The Piano
Man. It's like, man, you're killing me, So, no, don't.
Yeah,
don't-
wait till the set's over.
Yeah, and come up afterwards when they're on a break and say, gee, I
Gee,
really,
I really
enjoyed
enjoyed the way that you did just the way you are, or whatever. Yeah. And maybe tip them a little something, too, if they've got a tip jar out there. And finally, not letting the crew know that there's a problem, that there's a problem with your service, there's a problem with your bed, there's a problem with your toilet, there's a problem with your room, there's a problem with the air conditioning, your room is too hot, your room is too cold, you can't get the door open for the balcony. Whatever it is, you got to let them know. And you've got to let them know in a timely fashion. And don't be douchey about it.
Yeah, and
Some people are.
And don't suffer through it for your whole cruise and then go on Facebook afterwards
Yeah,
and
and
say,
become a keyboard
"This is-
warrior."
This is a horrible cruise because blah, blah, blah.
And we see that all the time.
And we do.
Cruise Critic and all these other cruise reviews.
Right.
People get on there and they will just trash the living hell out of a cruise line, out of the entertainment director, whatever, over something that maybe could have been corrected with a quick call down to the customer service desk.
Exactly.
Remember, we were on the one cruise and our room was like an ice box. We were freezing.
Yes.
And no matter what we did, we adjusted the thermostat in the room and we couldn't do anything to warm that room up. And I called down to customer service, and in about 10 minutes, somebody came knocking on the door. It was one of the engineers, and they pulled something down from the ceiling and gave it a little tweak, and we were nice and comfy in minutes.
Yeah, and for the whole rest of the cruise.
The whole
So
rest of
it
the
was
cruise.
definitely
It was
worth
perfect.
it.
So say something. Don't go home and write something.
Right. So those are just 10 of the things that people do that just might be done in good faith and wind up being wrong.
And I suspect that there are many others.
I would think
You
so.
can go on for pages and pages. So that's it for this edition, short and sweet. And we will be back again soon with yet another edition of the Sonic Boomers podcast, and we'll keep doing it till we get it right. I'm Pete Torriello.
And Maureen Torriello.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.